The House is set to vote today on a $1 trillion spending package, and a federal appeals court has ordered an investigation into possible bias among the jurors who decided the death penalty case against the Boston Marathon bomber. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. The House of Representatives is slated to vote today on a $1.2 trillion spending package. As NPR's Barbara Sprunch reports, the bills would fund the federal government through the end of this fiscal year.
The package represents the second and final set of bipartisan spending bills for the year. It includes defense, homeland security, labor, and state foreign operations. Both Democrats and Republicans have claimed victories in the compromise legislation. Republicans point to increased funding for strengthening the southern border, including an increase in the number of agents and ICE detention beds. Democrats are touting a $1 billion increase for child care and early learning programs. The deadline for Congress to pass the bills is Friday at midnight. Once it passes the House, the Senate will take it up, possibly over the weekend. Barbara Sprunch, NPR News, the Capitol.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken has returned to Israel for meetings with Israeli leaders. He's working on a potential ceasefire in Gaza and trying to secure the release of hostages held by Hamas. Blinken is reiterating U.S. opposition to an Israeli plan to stage a major military push into the southern Gaza city of Rafah to attack Hamas fighters.
Hamas can be effectively dealt with without a major ground operation in Rafah, and one of the reasons that we have counterparts from the Israeli government coming to Washington next week is precisely to focus on that, to share with them our views on what alternative actions could be.
Blinken's trip comes as health authorities in Gaza plead for more aid. They warn Palestinian children there have already starved to death. A federal appeals court has ordered a lower court to investigate possible bias among the jurors deciding the case of the Boston Marathon bomber. The attack in 2013 left 3 people dead. As NPR's Tovia Smith reports, lawyers for Dzhokhar Tsarnaev say he should get a new trial to decide whether he should be sentenced to death or life in prison.
Defense attorneys have been calling into question 2 jurors since Tsarnaev's 2015 trial when they discovered social media activity suggesting a bias. One juror retweeted a message calling Tsarnaev a piece of garbage. The appeals court overturned Tsarnaev's death penalty, saying he didn't get a fair trial, but the U.S. Supreme Court reinstated it. Now, the trial court itself must investigate further. Former federal judge Nancy Gertner says there's a good chance Tsarnaev will get a new trial to determine his sentence.
This was at least arguably a misrepresentation about their opinions about Dzhokhar Tsarnaev.
Tsarnaev is currently on death row in a federal supermax prison. Tovia Smith, NPR News, Boston.
This is NPR.